Today is February 10th, 2019. So where are the FAANG stock after earning? In this video, we're going to try to get some answer to see where the FAANG stocks are headed and how they have performed since they reported earnings. So let's go and take a look at the price charts. Looking at Facebook, here's the Facebook candlestick chart, the daily chart here. You can see that it came up and gapped up on the open after the day after earnings, and you see that since then it's sort of kind of consolidating near this somewhere around this 171 and 165 area. So also the other things to note is that here's this double bottom here, before the earning. Right. And also it basically got a major move, and then upon post earning it actually did a 100% major move, came up, touched this above this 170.57 approximately. That's the 100% major move, and then it kind of chopped around right now. So what I'm looking at is the possibility. Also the other thing is I got a Fibonacci retracement drawn between this high and this pivot low here, and to just kind of get some idea of where are some of the potential pullback level if it is going to pull back, break down from this consolidation zone. Let's say it's going to come down from there, then basically I'm looking at this retracement zone between 161 to 154, and here's the 50% point here is 157.63. And also notice there is a little bit of a low volume zone here near this 50% area. So one of these scenario, if we see a pullback, then I'll be watching to see would it get a little bit of rejection when it come in to this 50% area. And what I mean by rejection is that it get a bounce back up because this price is not being accepted, and it get bounced back up. Then we see it maybe come up and hit the point of control here somewhere around this 175 area, and work itself up to this value area high near the 180 mark. Right, so that's the upside. But let's say, for example, if it doesn't get rejected and went right to, then it come down to this 38% retracement. You also see that there is a little bit of a high volume node here. Right, so we're going to keep an eye on it to see would it be able to chop around and then come back up. But if it's unable to come back up, and let's say it's just chop around and break down and fill this gap, then we'd be basically looking at this gap fill somewhere around this 151. Right, so and see would it get there, get a bounce after the gap fill. Otherwise, then we're basically looking for this thing to come down to this value area low somewhere around 142.70. Okay, so that's the downside scenario, and basically that's what we're going to be keeping an eye on for the near term, to see would it be able to get a little bounce back up and maybe come up and tag this 180, right, or come down and fill this gap and see is it going to continue to go down to this 142. Now looking at Apple, you see Apple is also gapped up after earning. Here's the gap that it left behind here, and it just went right to this low volume zone here after earning, and move above the point of control on this composite volume profile, and also move up to the near the 175 area. But also the other things to note here, if you take a look at this thing closely, this is more of a like a inverted head and shoulder pattern. And also I have set up a major move here, and you can see that it actually made the 100% major move when it come up to this 175 area after earning. Now also the other thing is I set up the Fibonacci retracement just to kind of see where is that retracement zone is, if it gonna pull back. So right now it's looking at this this high volume zone here. Basically is little bit of a balance area. So if Apple is going to be balanced in here, then one of the possibilities that I'm going to look at is for it to come down to this 50% area, this near this 164, 165, right at the edge of the lower edge of this balance high volume zone, and see would it get a bounce back up to this upper edge near this 175. So it's basically like a range trading. Right? And the other thing is, let's say it will not be able to hold this edge and come right to this low volume area here and break to the 38.2% retracement and fill this gap, come back down and tag this 157 area, the volume point of control, and we're going to see would it be able to find some support here and then bounce back, or would it just come right to and then work itself back down to the value area, low area level near this 142. Okay, so that's the downside scenario, and the upside is basically see would it get a bounce off this edge. All right, that's one possibility, and the other one is would it get a bounce back up and move to this value area high here near this 195. Okay, and that's a there's another one possible scenario is that it could try to break out of this zone here, but then it come back down, and then it come back and test this 50% retracement level near this 164.50 right at the edge of this high volume zone. Okay, so that is the outlook for Apple on the possible up and down scenario. On Amazon, you see that Amazon actually came up to on post earning, try to break this 1739 resistance here, and unable to do that, and ever since it's essentially pulled back into this point of control here, this composite volume profile point of control, then kind of bounce around for a little bit, and then it broke through. So right now it seems like it might be working itself down to this 1487 area at the near the value area low, and to see it will get a bounce back up, and work itself back up into come up and test this 1778, the value area high, or at least try to break this 1739 resistance here. And you can see the Amazon basically been trading within this balance zone here, right? And because you can see also the other thing is this this composite, oops, not much of a, so this composite here, it seemed pretty balanced, right, with a very prominent point of control here right near this 1646 area. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing come down a little bit more and see would it be able to get a nice bounce up and then break out. And if we could break break back up above this this zone here, then gonna be watch it to see would it be able to just come right to this low area zone, see this low area volume zone, or it's gonna chop around here and try to establish balance here. If it just go right to, then I'd be looking at Amazon to come back up here and try to find some balance, okay, near the high. But otherwise, then if it break to this value area low, then I basically be watching for it to come down and maybe try to establish balance down here near these two levels between 1459 and 1339. Looking at Netflix here, on Netflix is actually went down on post earning. See, actually went down 3 consecutive days. Initially before earning, it was above this value area here. It broke out of this value area, and then on post earning, it came back in. And it seems to find some rejection here in this value area, so it went and pushes it back up to above this, this resistance here, this pivot high. But then it come back down and try to test this value area high once again. So if it is successful to hold above this value area high level, then I would be looking for this thing to work itself up to these resistance level and possibly get back up to somewhere around this 396 area and fill this gap here. Okay, so that's the upside scenario. And on the downside is, let's say it cannot hold this value area high level and then come back into this value area, then I'd be looking for this thing to work itself down, test these potential support level at 298, basically come in and fill this gap, then come down and test 275 and fill this gap also, then eventually come down to somewhere around this 267, this composite volume profile point of control, and then work itself down to this value area low near 256, then see would it be able to find some buyer and then pushes it back up. All right, so that's basically the one looking at for Netflix on the upside and the possible downside. Here in Google actually came up after earning and bumped up against this resistance here at 1151.50. Then it kind of pulled back. And also the other thing is I have a short-term price channel here on Google, and actually came down to this potential support level here at 1093, and also at the lower trend line of this price channel. So the things that I'm looking for right now is that to see would it be able to bounce back out of this high volume zone here. So this is basically like a trading range, right? You see how it's been hovering around this range here, and see would it be able to get back up above this range and break out and work itself back up to the upper channel and possibly test this 1169 value area high level here, and maybe try to come up and reestablish itself near this these area here for balance. Okay, or the other thing as I'm looking at is potential downside. Let's say it is unable to break out of that and unable to hold above the 1093 and this channel, and break down from this channel, then I essentially be looking for Google to come down and check the value point of control here, the volume point of control at 1070, 1071 for this composite, right? This value area. Okay, and that's basically, that's one of the potential support level here at 1064. So see would it be able to chop around and then move back up, but if it come down here, then basically I'm looking for it to see would it come down to this lower range somewhere around the 1030 area, and see would it be able to find some buyer and then push it back up. If there's no buyer stepping in, then I essentially are looking for this thing to continue to move down to this 1002, this value area low here, then see would it be able to find some support and then bounce back in to this particular range here, this zone here, somewhere between this 1110, right, somewhere around 1110 and 1130, right? So that's basically for Google. So that's my scenario on the FAANG stocks. Let me know in the description below what do you see that might happen on some of these FAANG stock. I'd be interested to hear your perspective. And if you find this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and let me know. And if you are not a subscriber of my YouTube channel, click on that subscribe button and subscribe, and also make sure to click on that bell icon so you will get notification whenever I do a new video or do a live video. So thank you for watching, and good luck to you on all your trading.